The world has gone soft. People crumble under pressure, seek comfort over growth, and trade discipline for distraction. But not you. Not anymore. Mental toughness is not about being cold, it's about being controlled. It's not about being fearless, it's about being focused. This is your training ground for an iron mind. A mind that doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, doesn't need applause. Because when the world gets weak, the strong rise. Welcome to Mental Toughness, How to Stop Being Soft. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Comfort is the enemy of strength. Comfort is the silent killer of mental toughness. It doesn't strike like an explosion. It seeps in slowly, disguised as convenience, pleasure, or self-care. But make no mistake, comfort is the breeding ground of weakness. Every time you choose comfort, you teach your mind softness. You train it to retreat instead of rise. You reinforce fragility instead of fortitude. That's how strength dies, not in chaos, but in convenience. Not from pain, but from ease. Modern life is designed to make you soft. Everything around you screams comfort. Instant food. Instant entertainment. Instant validation. No friction. No patience. No challenge. And then people wonder why they feel anxious, unfocused, and powerless. They've removed all discomfort from their lives, and with it, all growth. You can't build calluses without friction. You can't build resilience without resistance. You can't build mental toughness sitting in climate-controlled comfort scrolling through excuses. Comfort is a drug. Pain is the cure. And the moment you understand that, your life changes. Let's be clear, comfort feels good. That's the trap. It's seductive because it gives you a short-term hit of pleasure, a small relief from reality. But that relief costs you something bigger, your edge. The edge is what separates the focused from the fragile, the disciplined from the distracted, the builders from the blamers. You lose that edge the moment you start choosing easy. You lose it when you hit snooze instead of rising. When you scroll instead of study. When you hide instead of confront. That's how mediocrity is formed, one comfortable decision at a time. If you want strength, you must train for it. You don't train toughness when everything feels good, you train it when it hurts. When you're tired. When you're doubting yourself. When you'd rather stop. That's when the voice inside starts to negotiate. You've done enough, you deserve a break, you can do it later. That voice is not your friend. That voice is comfort talking. You don't need its permission. You don't need its approval. You have a choice, and that's the key. Every time you silence that voice and do what's necessary, you strengthen your command. You build dominance over the part of you that wants to quit. That's what toughness really is, command over comfort. Let's talk reality. You want to be confident? Stop avoiding friction. You want focus? Stop numbing yourself with distraction. You want self-respect? Start keeping the promises you make when no one's watching. You don't need motivation. You need movement. You don't need comfort. You need commitment. Growth hurts. That's why so few pursue it. The ones who do, they develop something rare, mental armor. Because every time you push through discomfort, you send your brain one powerful message. I can handle this. And that message rewires you. It makes you calmer under stress. More decisive under pressure. More grounded under chaos. You stop running from life. You start running toward it. Most people don't lack strength, they lack exposure to pain. They live insulated lives, avoiding anything that tests them. They confuse safety with peace. But safety is an illusion. Life will test you, whether you train for it or not. That's why you have to seek the test before it finds you. Voluntarily put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Wake up early. Train when it's cold. Speak when you're scared. Discipline your habits when no one's enforcing them. That's how you harden your mind. That's how you build self-command. Comfort isn't evil. But it is addictive. And like any addiction, it numbs your potential. Comfort tells you, you're fine. You don't need to try so hard. Discipline says, you're capable of more. Let's go. That's the fight, every day. Between the soft voice of comfort and the strong voice of command. One makes you weaker. One makes you free. The question is, which one are you feeding? Remember, your brain adapts to whatever you repeatedly expose it to. Expose it to comfort, it learns dependency. Expose it to challenge, it learns confidence. That's why people who chase comfort always need more of it. They need more entertainment, more distraction, more reassurance. Because comfort is never satisfied. It always asks for one more hit. But when you build strength, you reverse that process. You stop craving ease. You start craving progress. You start chasing friction because you know, friction is growth. So, start small. Cold shower. Long run. Uncomfortable conversation. Whatever it is, do the thing your comfort tells you not to. That's how you begin to shift the pattern. Every repetition of discomfort rewires your identity. You stop saying, "I can't," and start proving, "I can." You stop seeing difficulty as danger and start seeing it as direction. Remember this: comfort is not peace. Comfort is paralysis. It lulls you into mediocrity and convinces you you're safe. But you're not safe. You're stagnant. And stagnation is death for the mind. The world doesn't need more comfortable people. It needs resilient ones. It needs disciplined ones. It needs people who can stay calm when everything falls apart, because they've trained for it. You can't fake mental toughness. You can't buy it. You build it, through repetition, discomfort, and pain. So stop running from what's hard. Run toward it. Because every time you do, you reclaim a piece of your power. Comfort is a drug. Pain is the cure. Repeat that to yourself until it becomes your creed. Pain won't destroy you. It will define you. Discomfort won't break you. It will build you. That's the truth most people never learn, because they never step far enough outside the comfort zone to experience it. You're not like them. You're done living soft. You're done choosing easy. You're done feeding the addiction to comfort. You're ready to get uncomfortable. You're ready to grow. Because that's where the real strength begins, right where comfort ends. You've just taken your first step. You've recognized the trap. You've exposed the lie. Comfort isn't your friend. It's your limiter. And now, you're ready to break it. You've begun to train your mind to crave challenge, not ease. That's the foundation of mental toughness. You mastered the first enemy, comfort. Now it's time to face the next one. The one that lives inside your head. Chapter 2, Your feelings don't deserve the steering wheel. Your feelings are not the problem. Your obedience to them is. Every weak decision you've ever made started with the same phrase. I don't feel like it. That's the trap. You've been conditioned to treat your feelings like commands instead of information. You've been trained to believe that how you feel determines what you do. But mental toughness begins when that belief dies. Feelings are signals, not orders. They're not the driver, they're the dashboard. They're meant to inform you, not control you. Weak people obey emotion. Strong people interpret it. You have to understand this. Feelings change. They're unstable. They lie to you. They exaggerate. They distort reality. One bad night's sleep, and you feel like a failure. One small rejection, and you feel worthless. One moment of doubt, and your brain starts whispering, maybe this isn't for you. If you build your life on those moments, you'll never have control. Because emotion is wind, it changes direction every second. But discipline is the anchor. And without that anchor, you drift. You don't need to feel ready to act. You need to act to feel ready. That's the paradox of progress. You can't wait for motivation. You can't wait for inspiration. Because those things are unreliable. Motivation is a spark, it fades. Discipline is the fire, it stays. You have a choice every day: follow your feelings or follow your standards. One leads to chaos. The other leads to consistency. That's the key: consistency over emotion. When you obey your emotions, you surrender control. When you command your emotions, you reclaim your power. That's mental toughness. It's not about suppressing what you feel. It's about mastering what you do despite it. You can feel tired, and still train. You can feel anxious, and still show up. You can feel unmotivated, and still execute. Because it's not about how you feel. It's about what you do. Look around. Most people let their feelings run the show. They quit when it's uncomfortable. They lash out when they're angry. They procrastinate when they're afraid. They think discipline is cold or robotic. It's not. It's power. Emotions are loud. Discipline is steady. Emotions make excuses. Discipline makes decisions. Emotions crave comfort. Discipline craves growth. That's why the disciplined win, not because they feel better, but because they act better. Here's the truth. You'll never feel like doing the hard thing. Your brain is designed to protect you from discomfort, not push you through it. So when you wait until you feel ready, you'll wait forever. That's why strong people move first. They take action before their feelings catch up. Because they understand that feelings follow motion. You move first. Then motivation arrives. You execute first. Then emotion aligns. It's not about waiting to feel right. It's about doing what's right, even when it doesn't feel good. Think of it this way. Your feelings are weather. Your discipline is the climate. Weather changes by the hour. Climate defines the environment. Some days you'll wake up in a storm. Other days, it's clear skies. But your discipline must remain constant, unshaken by conditions. That's how you stay in control, not by chasing comfort, but by creating consistency. Let me make it even simpler. When emotion says, I can't, discipline says, watch me. When emotion says, later, discipline says, now. When emotion says, it's too hard, discipline says, that's the point. That's the voice you have to build, the voice of command. Command doesn't come naturally. It's trained. It's earned through repetition, every time you act against emotion and choose execution. Each repetition rewires your brain. Each decision to move despite fear, fatigue, or doubt builds identity, the identity of someone who leads their emotions, not follows them. You have to stop worshiping feelings. Society tells you to honor your emotions, follow your heart, do what feels right. But that advice keeps people weak. Because feelings lie. They exaggerate fear. They inflate comfort. They distort reality. If you want to grow, you must learn to say, I hear you, to your emotions, but not obey them. That's self-command. That's leadership. That's the discipline of strength. You might be thinking, but if I ignore my emotions, won't I burn out? No. Because you're not ignoring them, you're interpreting them. You're not suppressing fear, you're understanding what it's pointing to. You're not denying fatigue, you're managing it with structure. You're not dismissing sadness, you're using it as feedback to adjust course. That's what strong people do. They don't drown in emotion. They decode it. They use feeling as information, not identity. The weak say, I feel like quitting. The strong say, I can feel that, but I'm not stopping. The weak say, I don't feel like doing it. The strong say, I don't need to feel like it to do it. You see the difference? It's not about perfection, it's about priority. Weak people prioritize how they feel. Strong people prioritize what must be done. It's that simple. So what does this look like in your life? You stop waiting for the mood to be right. You stop waiting for confidence to appear. You stop negotiating with your excuses. You start showing up regardless. You start acting according to your standards, not your sensations. You start living like a commander, not a follower. That's how you separate yourself, in business, in fitness, in life. Because everyone else is ruled by how they feel. But not you. Not anymore. Let this truth sink in. You can't control how you feel, but you can always control what you do. That's the key. That's power. That's freedom. When you lead with discipline, emotion becomes your ally, not your enemy. It becomes fuel instead of friction. It becomes energy instead of interference. You stop reacting. You start directing. You stop waiting. You start creating. Because emotion might start the conversation, but discipline finishes it. Repeat this until it becomes your identity. It's not about how I feel. It's about what I do. That's your mantra. That's your command code. Every time emotion rises, you remind yourself, I have a choice. And you choose strength. You choose clarity. You choose action. That's mental toughness in motion. You've learned to silence the noise of emotion. You've learned to take back the steering wheel of your life. You've learned that command beats chaos. And that's how you become unstoppable. You've mastered your emotions, now it's time to master your environment. Because external noise is the next battlefield. Chapter 3, Nobody Cares, Work Harder. Nobody cares. Let that sink in. Nobody cares how tired you are. Nobody cares how unfair it feels. Nobody cares how much you've already done. And that's the point. Because the moment you stop expecting people to care, you free yourself. You stop waiting for validation. You stop begging for recognition. You stop handing your power away. That's the key. You have to understand, the world rewards execution, not explanation. Results, not reasons. Progress, not pity. You can either spend your life telling your story, or you can spend your life writing a new one through your work. But you can't do both. We live in a world addicted to sympathy. Everyone wants to be seen as a victim. Everyone wants applause for trying. But trying isn't enough. Effort means nothing without results. No one claps for potential. No one respects almost. No one remembers, I tried. You have to earn attention through action. You have to earn respect through repetition. You have to earn pride through persistence. No applause. No excuses. Just execution. That's how you win. You see, the truth is brutal, but it's freeing. The world doesn't owe you understanding. It owes you nothing. Your pain is real, yes. But your pain is private. And it should stay that way. Don't broadcast your struggle, channel it. Don't post about your grind, prove it. Don't ask for sympathy, ask more from yourself. That's how warriors operate. That's how high performers rise. Weak people tell their stories to be comforted. Strong people live their stories to be remembered. You have a choice. You can either seek sympathy or build strength. But you can't have both. Every time you explain why you can't, you reinforce weakness. Every time you justify delay, you kill momentum. Every time you tell the world how hard it is, you teach yourself helplessness. Stop doing that. You don't need the world's permission to work. You don't need its approval to grow. You don't need anyone's validation to keep going. It's not about their applause. It's about your discipline. The ones who make it? They work when no one's watching. They grind when no one's cheering. They bleed in silence, then win in public. Because they understand one truth. Nobody cares, work harder. Now, this isn't about being cold or emotionless. It's about responsibility. You can cry, but you can't quit. You can hurt, but you can't hide. You can struggle, but you can't stop. Discipline isn't about pretending you're unbreakable. It's about showing up anyway. You think champions don't feel pain? They do. Every day. They just stopped waiting for someone to care. They learned to care enough themselves to keep pushing. Because self-respect is built through self-responsibility. Here's what happens when you stop expecting sympathy. You stop wasting energy complaining. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop resenting people who have more. And you start doing the only thing that actually works, you execute. You start training harder. You start thinking clearer. You start taking control. Because action destroys weakness. That's the transformation. You shift from victim to victor. From reaction to responsibility. From whining to winning. It's not about what you deserve. It's about what you're disciplined enough to build. You can talk about how life isn't fair, or you can outwork it. You can complain about being overlooked, or you can make yourself undeniable. The world ignores average. It respects results. It rewards resilience. Nobody cares how you feel. Nobody cares about your circumstances. But everyone will care about your consistency once it produces results. That's the key. Let's get practical. How do you live this truth? Step 1. Stop broadcasting struggle. Don't tell people you're tired, rest, then get back up. Don't post about your grind, let the work speak. Don't complain about your boss, your family, or your stress. Every complaint is energy stolen from your progress. Step 2. Replace pity with process. Every time you start to say, "This isn't fair," ask instead, "What's next?" That question shifts you from emotion to execution. Step 3. Build daily proof. Each day, do something hard, something that earns your own respect. Because when you respect yourself, you stop needing approval from others. That's how discipline grows. The hardest part about this mindset is that it's lonely. You'll feel unseen. You'll feel misunderstood. You'll feel like no one notices the work. And you'll be right. They don't. But one day they will. One day, when your results speak louder than your words, they'll notice. They'll wonder how you did it. They'll ask what changed. And you'll smile, because you'll know. You stopped asking for applause. You started giving yourself orders. That's what separates the few from the many. It's not about getting recognition. It's about earning results. It's not about being seen. It's about being unstoppable. It's not about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. You don't need permission. You don't need pity. You don't need applause. You need execution. No applause. No excuses. Just execution. Here's the harsh truth most can't handle. Life doesn't get easier. You just get stronger. But strength only comes from struggle, not sympathy. Every setback you endure alone builds resilience. Every silent victory builds confidence. The pain you don't post about? That's your edge. The struggle you don't share? That's your armor. The grind you don't advertise? That's your advantage. Because private pain produces public power. So, the next time you feel like nobody cares, good. That's your reminder to keep going. That's your cue to stop explaining and start executing. Nobody's coming. Nobody's clapping. Nobody's saving you. And that's exactly why you must save yourself. That's mental toughness. That's personal power. That's freedom. Every day, repeat it until it becomes your DNA. Nobody cares. Work harder. When you wake up tired, work harder. When no one supports you, work harder. When you fail, work harder. Because hard work doesn't guarantee success. But it guarantees growth. And growth always wins. You have a choice: stay soft and seek sympathy, or get sharp and seek strength. That's the dividing line between average and elite. You've learned to stop expecting applause. You've learned to execute in silence. You've learned to let your results speak for you. Now it's time to level up again. Because even when you work hard, distractions will try to steal your focus. You've built resilience, now build precision. Chapter 4, Toughness is built, not born. You weren't born tough. You become tough. That's the truth no one wants to hear. Mental strength isn't in your DNA. It's in your decisions. It's in your daily actions. It's in the way you respond when life punches you in the mouth. You have a choice. You can crumble, or you can construct yourself. You can fold, or you can forge. Toughness is not something you're given. It's something you build. Brick by brick. Scar by scar. Rep by rep. That's the key. People love to say, they're just naturally strong. No, they're not. They're trained by pain. Every strong person you admire, every athlete, soldier, leader, survivor, they weren't born with steel in their spine. They built it. They earned it. They bled for it. And that's why they can handle what others can't. Because toughness isn't about being fearless. It's about being relentless despite fear. It's not about avoiding pain. It's about refusing to be defined by it. You weren't born tough. You become tough. The world tries to sell you comfort as success. Easy routines. Soft schedules. Quick rewards. But comfort is the enemy of strength. Every time you take the easy way out, you lose a little bit of yourself. Every time you back down, you train your mind to quit. Toughness isn't built in comfort. It's built in conflict. You become unbreakable by being broken and standing back up. You grow strength by facing what hurts, not running from it. That's the hard truth. And that's why most people will never be truly strong. They think toughness is about aggression. It's not. It's about endurance. It's about refusing to fold when the pressure hits. Think about a sword. It's just metal until it's forged in fire. Beaten, stretched, hammered. That's what life is doing to you. The fire isn't there to destroy you, it's there to shape you. Every setback is heat. Every failure is hammer. Every hardship is a chance to harden your edge. You can't build strength avoiding the struggle. You build it by walking through it, over and over again. Repetition. Resistance. Resilience. That's the formula. You weren't born tough. You become tough. Here's the thing about mental strength. It's not about pretending everything's fine. It's about functioning when it's not. Tough people feel pain. They feel fear. They feel fatigue. But they move anyway. That's the difference. Weakness obeys emotion. Strength obeys discipline. When your mind says, stop, toughness whispers, one more. When comfort calls, toughness says, not yet. When doubt screams, toughness answers, watch me. You have a choice in those moments. And that choice, repeated over time, is what builds you. It's not about talent. It's about tenacity. It's not about being lucky. It's about being consistent. That's the key. If you want to build toughness, stop avoiding difficulty. Run toward it. Seek the uncomfortable. Do what scares you. Expose yourself to controlled pain, physical, mental, emotional. Because every rep of discomfort adds armor to your character. You grow by lifting weight, not by avoiding it. You sharpen your mind by confronting resistance, not hiding from it. Start small if you need to. Take the cold shower. Wake up early. Say no to distractions. Finish the thing you said you would. These aren't motivational cliches, they're mental push-ups. Every time you do something hard, your brain learns that you can handle more. Every time you push past "I can't," you redefine what you're capable of. That's how toughness is built, repetition of resilience. Understand this. Your brain adapts the same way your body does. You put stress on your muscles, they grow. You put stress on your mind, it strengthens. That's why comfort kills growth. You need friction to build force. You need pressure to create power. The person who avoids pressure stays soft. The person who welcomes pressure becomes unstoppable. It's not about perfection. It's about persistence. You weren't born tough. You become tough. Here's a reality check. You're going to fail. You're going to fall. You're going to get hurt. But none of that defines you. What defines you is what happens next. Do you quit, or do you rebuild? Do you complain, or do you construct? Do you freeze, or do you fight? Every failure is a fork in the road, weakness or wisdom. You choose. And that choice, made again and again, is how you forge yourself into someone who can't be broken. You can't skip that process. You can't fake it. You can only live it. That's the path to toughness. That's the price of strength. Let me be clear. Toughness doesn't mean emotionless. It doesn't mean cold. It means controlled. It means composed. It means clear-headed when chaos hits. When others panic, you breathe. When others quit, you adjust. When others blame, you act. That's toughness. It's not loud, it's steady. It's not flashy, it's consistent. It's not gifted, it's earned. You weren't born tough. You become tough. And the beautiful thing is this: it's never too late to start building. You can decide today to stop running from the fire. You can decide today to stop complaining about the pressure. You can decide today to start using adversity as your training ground. Because the truth is, you can't control what life throws at you. But you can control how you respond. And that's all toughness really is: choosing discipline over despair. Choosing growth over comfort. Choosing action over emotion. You have that choice every single day. That's the key. The next time life gets hard, good. That's your test. That's your forge. Don't ask, why me? Ask, what's this building in me? Every obstacle is opportunity. Every failure is feedback. Every pain is a new layer of armor. You weren't born tough. You become tough. And once you understand that, everything changes. You stop seeing struggle as punishment, you start seeing it as preparation. That's how leaders are made. That's how warriors are built. That's how you become unbreakable. You've learned that toughness isn't luck, it's labor. It's not a gift, it's growth. It's not given, it's earned. Now, you're ready to take that toughness and apply it where it matters most: your decisions, your direction, your control. You've built the foundation. Now it's time to sharpen your command. Because even the toughest person becomes weak if they waste their power on chaos. You've become strong. Now it's time to become focused. Chapter 5: Master your inner dialogue. The loudest battle you'll ever fight is not out there, it's in here. Inside your head. Inside the voice that never stops talking. That voice can build you. Or it can break you. It can turn a challenge into an opportunity, or a simple task into a mountain. That voice is either your weapon or your weakness. Control the voice. Control the outcome. That's the key. Your mind is always talking. It whispers doubts. It tells stories. It invents reasons to quit. And most people never question it. They accept every thought as truth. Every excuse as logic. Every fear as fact. That's why they stay stuck. They don't realize their inner voice has taken the steering wheel. You have to take it back. You have to become the commander, not the passenger. Because your mind is programmable. And your language is the code. What you say internally shapes what you do externally. When your self-talk is weak, your life becomes weak. When your inner dialogue is disciplined, your reality follows. Control the voice. Control the outcome. Let's get one thing straight. That voice in your head isn't you. It's a pattern. It's a habit formed from fear, repetition, and survival. You don't have to listen to it. You can train it. You can rewrite it. You have a choice. Every "I can't" is a decision. Every "maybe later" is a surrender. Every "I'll try" is an escape hatch. You must replace them with new commands. I can't becomes I will. Maybe becomes must. I'll try becomes I do. That's how you reprogram your mind. That's how you rewire your identity. It's not about feelings, it's about language. Because language shapes belief. And belief drives behavior. You speak yourself into discipline, or you speak yourself into defeat. Control the voice. Control the outcome. Here's the truth. You can't silence that inner voice completely. But you can discipline it. You can teach it what to say. You can redirect it from complaint to command. Weak minds talk themselves out of effort. Strong minds talk themselves into it. It's not about confidence. It's about control. When your mind says, "I don't feel like it," you say, "Do it anyway." When it says, "I'm not ready," you say, "Then start now." When it says, "What if I fail?" you say, "Then I'll learn." You fight back, with better words. You don't need to believe them yet. You just need to say them. Because your subconscious doesn't argue. It obeys repetition. Say it enough, and your actions start to follow. Act on it enough, and your identity starts to change. That's the power of self-talk. You have to treat your inner dialogue like a drill sergeant. Direct. Clear. Non-negotiable. No, I hope. No, I wish. No, I'll try. You command. You instruct. You dictate. Because your mind is a battlefield, and if you don't lead, doubt will. Every morning, your thoughts line up like soldiers waiting for orders. If you start your day with weakness, you've already surrendered. But if you start with discipline, you've already won half the war. Wake up and speak power into your day. Not empty motivation, but deliberate mental commands. I execute. I focus. I finish. Not, I'll see how I feel. Because you already know how you'll feel: tired, distracted, tempted. Feelings don't lead. Commands do. Control the voice. Control the outcome. Let's talk about real-world application. When you're in the gym and your body says, "That's enough," you reply, "2 more." When you're at work and your brain says, "Take a break," you reply, "Finish first." When you're facing rejection and your ego says, "Give up," you reply, "Not yet." You counter weakness with words of power. You don't negotiate with the inner quitter. You dominate it. That's the mindset of a warrior. That's mental discipline in action. Because if you let that voice talk unchecked, it will always default to comfort. It will always seek the path of least resistance. But the path of least resistance builds the least strength. You can't afford that. You have to become ruthless with your own thoughts. Ruthless with your own language. It's not about what happens around you. It's about what happens within you. Control the voice. Control the outcome. Most people think mental toughness is about gritting your teeth and pushing harder. It's not. It's about precision. It's about directing your energy toward what matters. Your inner dialogue is the compass. If it points toward fear, you'll walk in circles. If it points toward action, you'll move forward. That's why you must monitor it constantly. Catch yourself in the act of weakness. The moment you hear, "I can't," challenge it. Ask, "Who said that?" Because most of the time, it's not truth, it's habit. And habits can be broken. You train your inner dialogue the same way you train a muscle, through repetition, resistance, and recovery. The more you correct your mental language, the faster your identity shifts. You go from reactive to proactive. From emotional to intentional. From fragile to focused. That's transformation. Let me make this clear: mastering your inner dialogue doesn't mean fake positivity. It's not about lying to yourself. It's about leading yourself. Real discipline doesn't need motivation. It needs clarity. It needs structure. It needs command. You tell your mind what to do, and then you do it. That's self-leadership. That's how you build mental toughness that no one can shake. You don't need their permission. You don't need their validation. You don't need their applause. You only need your internal alignment, your words matching your actions reinforcing your words. That's power. That's control. Control the voice. Control the outcome. Here's your assignment. For the next 7 days, monitor every internal statement that begins with "I can't," "I'll try," or "maybe." Replace each one, immediately, with a command. Not a hope. A command. Because every time you do that, you reclaim control of your internal world. And once you control your inner world, the outer world starts bending in your direction. You start seeing progress faster. You start feeling grounded. You start realizing how much power you've always had, but never used. It's not about controlling everything around you. It's about mastering what's within you. That's mental toughness in its purest form. You can't lead others if you can't lead your own mind. You can't win the outer war if you've already lost the inner one. So lead yourself. Speak to yourself like someone you respect. Command yourself like someone you believe in. Because the truth is, you become what you tell yourself you are. And if you start saying, "I'm unstoppable, I'm disciplined, I don't quit," eventually, that's exactly who you'll become. Control the voice. Control the outcome. You've learned how to lead your mind. Now it's time to learn how to lead your focus. Because once your words align, your attention becomes your next battlefield. You've taken command of your inner world. Now you'll learn how to aim that power outward. Chapter 6, Pain is feedback, not failure. Pain. The word alone makes most people flinch. They hear pain and think punishment. They hear pain and think failure. They hear pain and think something went wrong. But that's not the truth. Pain isn't the enemy. Pain is information. Pain is feedback. Pain is the body's and mind's way of saying, "This is where the growth is." Pain doesn't stop you. It sculpts you. That's the key. Weak minds retreat from pain. Strong minds listen to it. Weak minds run. Strong minds learn. You have a choice, to interpret pain as a warning or as a teacher. Most people never develop mental toughness because they keep avoiding the classroom of pain. They want strength without struggle. They want growth without grind. They want results without resistance. That's not how it works. Everything that strengthens you first stretches you. Every skill you master first frustrates you. Every muscle you build first tears a little. That's the process. That's how you grow. Pain doesn't stop you. It sculpts you. Here's the truth no one likes to hear. If your life is comfortable all the time, you're not progressing, you're plateauing. Because comfort kills adaptation. And adaptation is the heartbeat of progress. Pain is your proof that you're pushing past your limits. It's your signal that you're expanding capacity. Every discomfort you feel, mental, physical, emotional, is data. It's feedback that tells you exactly where your edge is. When you lift a weight and it burns, that's your body telling you, this is where strength begins. When you're rejected and your ego hurts, that's your character saying, this is where humility grows. When life throws you chaos and you feel pressure, that's your mind whispering, this is where composure is built. You either use that feedback, or you flee from it. You have a choice. Most people never separate pain from panic. They experience pain, and immediately their brain screams, stop. Not because they're in danger, but because they're uncomfortable. Your brain's first job is survival. It's designed to keep you safe, not strong. And safe is often the opposite of successful. So you have to override it. You have to retrain your mind to recognize the difference between pain that harms and pain that helps. Pain that harms is injury. Pain that helps is growth. If your body is breaking, stop. If your ego is bruised, keep going. You don't need to avoid pain. You need to interpret it correctly. That's the discipline. That's how you turn discomfort into progress. Pain doesn't stop you. It sculpts you. Think of the gym. You don't get stronger by lifting what's easy. You grow by lifting what challenges you. You push until you feel the burn, and then you push a little more. That burn is not failure. It's feedback. It's your muscle adapting, your capacity expanding. The same rule applies everywhere. When you're learning a new skill and your brain feels tired, that's mental growth. When you're building a business and every day feels uncertain, that's strategic growth. When you're healing from loss and every emotion feels raw, that's emotional growth. The discomfort means you're alive, evolving, adapting. But weak minds mistake the pain of progress for the pain of punishment. They back off. They quit early. They never reach the level where strength is built. Don't make that mistake. You're not supposed to feel good while you grow. You're supposed to feel pressure. You're supposed to feel friction. Because friction is what forges form. Pain doesn't stop you. It sculpts you. Let's get practical. How do you start using pain as feedback instead of fearing it? Step 1. Detach. When pain shows up, don't react, observe. Don't say, why is this happening to me? Say, what is this trying to teach me? That one shift changes everything. It moves you from victim to student. Step 2. Translate. Ask, what data is this pain giving me? If it's physical pain, it's data about your limits or your form. If it's emotional pain, it's data about your attachment or your ego. If it's mental pain, it's data about your focus or your discipline. Pain gives direction, if you're willing to decode it. Step 3. Apply. Take the feedback and make an adjustment. Don't just suffer, sharpen. If you're exhausted, improve your recovery. If you're frustrated, refine your strategy. If you're afraid, increase your exposure. Pain points you to the work that still needs to be done. It's your internal GPS for growth. Pain doesn't stop you. It sculpts you. Let's talk about failure, because pain and failure are twin teachers. Most people treat failure like a dead end. It's not. It's a signal. A signal that something in your process, timing, or effort needs refinement. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's the foundation of it. Every person you admire, athlete, artist, entrepreneur, leader, has one thing in common: they learned to use pain as fuel. They didn't take failure personally. They took it as data. They studied what went wrong, adjusted, and moved again. That's how winners think. They don't escape pain, they extract lessons from it. Because pain and feedback are inseparable from greatness. You can't have one without the other. Pain doesn't stop you. It sculpts you. Here's the secret: pain is neutral. You're the one who gives it meaning. You can let it break your spirit, or you can let it break your limits. That's your choice. That's your responsibility. And every time you choose to endure instead of escape, you become stronger. Not just in body, but in will. You start trusting yourself. You start building evidence that you can handle discomfort. You stop panicking in adversity, because you've trained for it. That's when pain transforms from enemy to ally. From fear to feedback. From suffering to sharpening. Pain is not punishment, it's preparation. Preparation for your next level of strength, clarity, and calm. You can't eliminate pain, but you can master your response to it. That's mental toughness. That's discipline. That's control. So the next time you feel pain, pause. Breathe. Listen. Don't run. Don't numb. Don't quit. Ask, what is this showing me? Then use it. Refine. Adapt. Grow. Because the pain you feel today is shaping the person you'll become tomorrow. And one day, you'll look back and realize, the moments that hurt the most built the version of you that can't be broken. Pain doesn't stop you. It sculpts you. You've learned how to turn pain into power. Now it's time to learn how to protect that power. Because strength means nothing without stability. Your next mission is to build the mental armor that keeps you grounded, no matter what chaos comes your way. Chapter 7, Discipline is the ultimate freedom. Everyone wants freedom. Freedom of time. Freedom of mind. Freedom to do what they want, when they want. But here's the paradox most people never understand. You don't get freedom by doing whatever you feel like. You get freedom by mastering yourself. Freedom is earned through routine. That's the key. Most people are prisoners, not of society, not of circumstance, but of their own impulses. They wake up tired because they stayed up late scrolling. They eat trash because they chase comfort, not health. They break promises to themselves because they follow mood, not mission. That's not freedom. That's slavery, self-imposed, disguised as living free. Freedom isn't the absence of structure. It's the mastery of structure. It's the ability to control your day, your decisions, your direction, without being dragged by desire. You don't need more motivation. You need more discipline. Because discipline is what frees you from the chaos of your emotions. Freedom is earned through routine. Let's break this down. Discipline is doing what you must do, even when you don't feel like it. It's acting from commitment, not convenience. It's choosing progress over pleasure, consistency over comfort. Most people wait for the right mood. Winners don't. They move regardless. That's the difference. You can't build anything meaningful on unstable emotions. You build it on structure, on the unshakable rhythm of daily effort. Discipline is that rhythm. It's what separates amateurs from professionals, dreamers from doers, excuses from execution. It's not about talent. It's about consistency. It's not about intensity. It's about endurance. The disciplined person will always outlast the passionate one, because passion fades, but discipline endures. Freedom is earned through routine. Let's talk about the real cost of freedom. Freedom demands sacrifice. If you want control of your time, you must first control yourself. If you want mastery, you must first give up laziness, distraction, and excuses. You can't be free and undisciplined at the same time. That's the lie society sells you. They tell you freedom is doing whatever you want. But look around, most people doing whatever they want are broke, lost, or unfulfilled. The ones who built freedom, financial, emotional, spiritual, they built it through routine. They repeated small, boring, disciplined actions until their results became automatic. Discipline is the price you pay for liberation. You can't skip it. You can't outsource it. You earn it every day. Freedom is earned through routine. Let's go deeper. Discipline doesn't restrict you. It refines you. Structure isn't your enemy. It's your weapon. When you create structure, you reduce decision fatigue. You stop wasting energy on trivial choices, when to wake up, what to eat, when to work. Your routine becomes your armor. That's how elite performers think. They build their day like a fortress. The average person calls it boring. The disciplined person calls it peace. Because when your life is structured, you can focus your energy on what truly matters: growth, creation, excellence. You're not wasting mental energy fighting your own laziness. You've automated success through habit. That's not restriction. That's liberation. Freedom is earned through routine. Here's the truth. You already have discipline, it's just being applied to the wrong things. You're disciplined at checking your phone. You're disciplined at procrastinating. You're disciplined at finding excuses. The habit is there. The direction is wrong. So redirect it. Replace comfort-based habits with commitment-based habits. If you can binge-watch for 3 hours, you can train for 1. If you can scroll endlessly, you can read 10 pages. If you can talk about goals, you can take 1 action toward them. Discipline is not something you lack, it's something you must reclaim. You have a choice. Feed your weakness, or train your will. That's the real battle. That's how freedom is built, one disciplined act at a time. Freedom is earned through routine. Let's make it practical. Here's how you build discipline that lasts. Step 1. Start small, stay consistent. Discipline isn't about massive change overnight. It's about micro-wins stacked daily. Wake up at the same time. Make your bed. Do 1 hard thing before sunrise. Consistency compounds faster than intensity. Step 2. Eliminate negotiation. Stop arguing with yourself about what needs to be done. Decide once, execute daily. No debate. No delay. Discipline thrives in clarity and dies in confusion. Step 3. Build rituals, not resolutions. Don't depend on willpower. Design your environment so discipline becomes automatic. Set your workout clothes the night before. Plan your day in advance. Cut distractions before they cut your focus. Structure creates simplicity. Simplicity creates freedom. Freedom is earned through routine. Here's something most people miss. Discipline isn't about punishment, it's about alignment. You're not saying no to yourself. You're saying yes to your higher self. You're choosing long-term fulfillment over short-term relief. You're trading instant pleasure for lasting pride. That's how you evolve. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you build self-trust. And self-trust is the purest form of freedom. Because when you trust yourself, you no longer need validation. You don't need permission. You don't depend on others to keep you accountable. You become your own leader, your own coach, your own enforcer. That's power. That's control. Freedom is earned through routine. Now, let's talk about the mindset of disciplined freedom. The disciplined person doesn't seek balance, they seek alignment. They don't try to fit in discipline, they live by it. They don't say, I'll try. They say, I will. Discipline is identity. When it becomes who you are, not what you do, you've won. You stop chasing motivation because the system runs itself. You stop negotiating with weakness because the standard is set. You stop fearing failure because consistency guarantees progress. That's real freedom, the kind you don't have to escape from. It's not about perfection. It's about direction. It's not about feeling ready. It's about being relentless. Freedom is earned through routine. You have a choice to make. Continue living as a slave to your impulses, or live as a master of your actions. One leads to chaos. The other leads to control. One builds regret. The other builds respect. You decide. But remember this, every disciplined day buys you more freedom tomorrow. Every structured habit builds another brick of peace in your life. Discipline is the door. Routine is the key. And freedom is what waits on the other side. Freedom is earned through routine. You've learned that true freedom doesn't come from doing less, it comes from doing what matters with precision and purpose. Now, let's talk about what happens when your discipline meets resistance. When the world tests your control and chaos tries to pull you back. Because mastering discipline is one thing, protecting it under pressure is another. Get ready. Chapter 8, Stop negotiating with yourself. Every downfall starts with one small negotiation. Just 5 more minutes. I'll start tomorrow. I'll do it later. You think it's harmless. You think it's small. But that's how weakness begins, one excuse at a time. The war isn't out there. It's in your own head. It's between the version of you that wants comfort and the version that demands greatness. Every day, one of them wins. And here's the truth, you can't serve both. You either strengthen the voice that commands or feed the one that complains. You either move forward with power or sink back into softness. You have a choice. Decide once. Execute always. That's the key. Negotiation is the language of mediocrity. The weak constantly bargain with their own potential. They make deals with laziness. They justify procrastination. They reason with fear. They tell themselves, I'll rest today so I can go harder tomorrow. But tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next year. And eventually, they stop believing themselves altogether. That's the tragedy, not failure, but internal betrayal. When you can no longer trust your own word. Discipline dies in the quiet deals you make with yourself. That's where your edge erodes. You don't lose the battle because life was too hard. You lose it because you kept giving yourself permission to quit. That's the truth no one wants to face. You have a choice, negotiate or dominate. Decide once. Execute always. Let's get real. You already know what needs to be done. You know you should wake up earlier. You know you should train harder. You know you should stop wasting time. The problem isn't knowledge, it's negotiation. Every time you hesitate, your mind starts the conversation. Do we really have to? Maybe later. We've earned a break. That's the voice of weakness. That's the enemy. And the longer you listen, the louder it becomes. The only way to silence it is through decisive action. You don't argue with that voice. You override it. You don't explain. You execute. You don't think. You move. Because every second you spend debating, you lose momentum. Every pause opens the door to hesitation. And hesitation kills execution. Decide once. Execute always. That's the discipline mindset. Strong minds don't negotiate with themselves. They make decisions once and live by them. You don't have to decide every morning whether to work out, it's already decided. You don't have to decide whether to eat clean, it's already decided. You don't have to decide whether to show up, it's already decided. The decision was made once. Now, you just execute. That's freedom. That's power. Because decision fatigue is real. Every time you revisit a decision, you weaken it. But when you lock it in, when you say, "This is who I am. This is what I do," the noise disappears. There's no more debate. No more doubt. No more delay. You just move. It's not about how you feel. It's about what you do. That's the key. Decide once. Execute always. Let's look at it from another angle. Negotiation is comfort disguised as logic. You don't say, "I want to quit." You say, "I'll take a short break." You don't say, "I'm scared." You say, "I'll wait until I'm ready." You rationalize. You justify. You make weakness sound reasonable. But deep down, you know what's happening. You're surrendering inch by inch. You're training your mind to retreat. The mind learns through repetition. If you repeatedly obey the voice of resistance, it becomes your master. But if you repeatedly execute without negotiation, discipline takes over. You're conditioning your brain to follow strength, not softness. That's how mental toughness is built. Not through motivation. Through repetition of decisive action. Decide once. Execute always. Let's talk about the mental pattern. Negotiation happens when emotion enters decision-making. When tired, you bargain. When stressed, you delay. When comfortable, you indulge. That's the loop you must break. You can't let feelings drive your behavior. Feelings fluctuate, standards don't. You're not training to feel good. You're training to follow through. Every time you push through the urge to quit, you strengthen that standard. Every time you let emotion lead, you weaken it. It's not about how hard it is. It's about whether you follow your rule. And your rule should be simple. Decide once. Execute always. Now, here's a practical way to kill negotiation before it starts. 1. Create non-negotiable anchors. Anchors are habits that you do every day, no matter what. No debate. No delay. No deviation. Wake up at the same time. Train at the same time. Work on your goals at the same time. You make them sacred. 2. Eliminate emotional loopholes. Stop giving yourself reasons. You're tired? Do it tired. You're busy? Do it faster. You're not ready? Do it anyway. Excuses are infinite. Execution is binary, you either did it or you didn't. 3. Keep promises to yourself. If you say you'll do it, do it. Not because someone's watching. Not because it feels good. But because your word must mean something. Every kept promise builds self-respect. Every broken one erodes it. That's how confidence is built, not from hype, but from history. You trust yourself when you've proven, again and again, that you don't negotiate. Decide once. Execute always. Let's be honest, negotiation feels good in the moment. It gives you relief. It gives you escape. It gives you comfort. But comfort kills potential. Every time you negotiate, you delay your evolution. You rob your future self of progress for the sake of temporary ease. You can't grow and negotiate at the same time. One must die for the other to live. So ask yourself, which version of you are you feeding? The disciplined one who decides and executes? Or the fragile one who bargains and retreats? You have a choice. Stop making deals with your weakness. Stop granting your excuses an audience. Stop debating your destiny. You don't need more motivation. You need to stop negotiating. Decide once. Execute always. Here's the truth. You'll never eliminate resistance, but you can out-train it. You'll never silence the lazy voice, but you can ignore it. You'll never stop feeling the urge to quit, but you can act anyway. Discipline isn't about perfection. It's about decision. You don't need permission to act. You don't need the right mood. You just need to follow through. Every time you act without negotiation, you win a small war inside yourself. And those small victories build empires of strength. The weak negotiate. The strong execute. That's the difference. That's the standard. Decide once. Execute always. You've learned how to silence the inner negotiator, how to replace hesitation with command. You've taken back your power from the voice of weakness. But now, it's time to learn another truth about strength. Because even when your mind is sharp, your world will still test you. And when that happens, your greatest weapon won't be noise or aggression, it'll be silence. You mastered internal command. Now, let's master external composure. Chapter 9, Pressure is a privilege. Pressure. Most people run from it. They hide from responsibility. They avoid challenge. They want comfort, not confrontation. But the truth is simple: pressure is a privilege. It's the weight life gives to those who are capable of carrying more. It's not punishment. It's preparation. It's not there to break you. It's there to build you. That's the key. Pressure doesn't break you. It builds you. Weak people collapse under pressure because they've trained for comfort, not confrontation. They've conditioned their minds to seek escape, not endurance. They panic when life demands more from them, because they've never practiced holding the line. But strong people, the disciplined ones, they see pressure differently. They see it as a test. They see it as proof that their efforts matter. They see it as the sign they're playing in the arena, not sitting in the stands. You have a choice. Run from pressure and stay soft. Or embrace pressure and grow sharp. That's the choice that separates the weak from the warriors. Because here's the truth: no one gets stronger without resistance. No one becomes calm without chaos. No one becomes tough without tension. Pressure doesn't break you. It builds you. Let's get real. Everyone says they want success until success brings pressure. Everyone says they want leadership until leadership brings weight. Everyone says they want greatness until greatness demands accountability. They want the outcome, not the obligation. But the obligation is the training. Pressure is the price of responsibility. And responsibility is the price of strength. You can't carry both comfort and greatness. You'll have to put one down. You have a choice. That's the key. Pressure is not your enemy. Avoiding it is. Pressure exposes who you really are. It strips away your image. It removes your excuses. It reveals your foundation. When life gets heavy, you see the truth. Were you built for it or just pretending? When everything's on the line, your habits show up. Your preparation shows up. Your discipline shows up. That's why pressure is a privilege, because it gives you feedback that comfort never will. You can't fake composure when life squeezes you. Under pressure, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall to your level of training. So train for pressure. Train for the storm, not the sunshine. Train for adversity, not applause. Because the world doesn't test your intentions, it tests your preparation. Pressure doesn't break you. It builds you. Here's the mindset shift you need. Most people think pressure means something's wrong. But pressure means you're in motion. It means you're stretching. It means you're growing. No growth comes without strain. No evolution comes without discomfort. A muscle doesn't grow in comfort. It grows under stress. A diamond doesn't form without pressure. And a human doesn't develop strength without adversity. You don't run from pressure. You run into it. You say, "Good. Let's see what I'm made of." You use it as a mirror, not a monster. That's mental toughness. That's maturity. The weak panic under pressure. The strong perform. The untrained fold. The disciplined focus. It's not about avoiding the heat. It's about learning to operate in it. That's the difference. That's the key. Let's talk about what pressure really is: feedback. When pressure builds, it's your system telling you, you're at the edge of your current capacity. It's not punishment. It's data. It's your body and mind saying, this is where we grow. So don't retreat. Adjust. Refocus. Breathe. Pressure isn't a stop sign. It's a signal. It's telling you to expand your capacity. Because if you can stay composed under pressure, you win. Every time. That's why pressure is a privilege. Because most people will never get close enough to feel it. They'll live lives small enough to stay safe. They'll choose comfort over challenge. They'll avoid every environment that could stretch them. But the strong? They seek it. They walk straight toward the tension. They ask for more. Because they know, that's where real growth lives. Pressure doesn't break you. It builds you. Here's how to train for pressure in real life. 1. Increase your exposure intentionally. Do things that make you uncomfortable on purpose. Speak up when it's easier to stay silent. Take on responsibility when others avoid it. Volunteer for the hard task. Not because it's easy, but because it's hard. You grow by stepping into the weight, not away from it. 2. Regulate your breathing under stress. When pressure hits, your body wants to panic. That's natural. But calm is a skill. Control your breath, and you control your body. Control your body, and you control your mind. Inhale discipline. Exhale doubt. That's how you anchor yourself when the storm hits. 3. Prepare so deeply that pressure becomes routine. Pressure only crushes the unprepared. If you've done the work, pressure feels familiar. Repetition turns pressure into rhythm. When you've faced it enough times, it no longer scares you, it sharpens you. That's how professionals think. They don't fear the big stage. They've practiced under it. You can too. Train in chaos. Operate under fatigue. Stay calm under fire. That's not punishment. That's freedom. Because when pressure no longer controls you, you control everything. Here's the truth no one wants to admit. Pressure reveals integrity. It shows who keeps their word when it's hard. It shows who shows up when it's inconvenient. It shows who stays consistent when no one's watching. When the stakes rise, the mask falls. So stop fearing that moment. Welcome it. Because pressure doesn't just expose weakness, it exposes greatness. It's how the real ones are separated from the pretenders. It's how champions are made. It's how steel is forged. You can't fake composure. You can't fake discipline. You can't fake strength under weight. You either have it or you don't. And the only way to have it is to earn it, through pressure. That's the process. That's the path. Pressure doesn't break you. It builds you. You have a choice. You can spend your life dodging discomfort, or you can start using it. You can keep hiding from the heat, or you can step into it and harden. You can stay fragile, or you can become forged. The world doesn't need more comfort seekers. It needs more pressure performers. Stop asking for things to get easier. Start asking to get stronger. That's the mindset of the elite. That's the mentality of the disciplined. Pressure is not your punishment. Pressure is your privilege. And once you see it that way, you stop running from challenge. You stop avoiding discomfort. You stop breaking under weight. You start building. Because pressure doesn't break you. It builds you. You've learned how to handle the weight of life. You've learned how to stand tall when others collapse. You've learned that pressure is not the problem, it's the path. But there's one more test of true strength. One final battlefield, not of the body, not of the world, but of the mind. Because pressure is external. But chaos is internal. You've mastered composure under weight. Now, it's time to master composure under noise. Chapter 10, The Hard Way is the Only Way. You want success. You want respect. You want strength. But here's the brutal truth. If you take the easy way, you get the easy life. And easy lives produce weak results. Weak character. Weak discipline. Weak outcomes. The hard way is the only way. That's the key. The hard way is the strong way. Most people are addicted to shortcuts. They want instant results. They want recognition without effort. They want reward without struggle. That's comfort masquerading as ambition. It's the exact trap that keeps the world soft. Look around. How many people do you know who have it easy? They complain about life anyway. They never build resilience. They never become unshakable. Because strength isn't granted. It's earned through friction, resistance, and the relentless grind. The hard way is the strong way. Let's define it. What is the hard way? The hard way is waking up when your body screams stay in bed. The hard way is doing what's necessary, not what's convenient. The hard way is enduring discomfort so your future self thrives. Every shortcut is a compromise. Every shortcut is a moment you teach your mind to seek ease over growth. Every shortcut chips away at your edge. You have a choice. Take the soft route and stay average. Or embrace the struggle and become extraordinary. That's the choice that separates winners from the crowd. Think about history's greats, the people you admire. They didn't get there by skipping the hard parts. They didn't wait for life to hand them advantage. They went through fire. They endured rejection. They built habits when no one was watching. Pain, challenge, discipline, these were their teachers. The difference between them and the average person? They chose the hard way. The hard way is the strong way. Here's the reality most people avoid. Discipline is uncomfortable. Consistency is exhausting. Persistence is grueling. That's why most quit. That's why most settle. That's why most never reach their potential. But when you take the hard way, discomfort becomes your ally. Every challenge you endure, every difficulty you overcome, strengthens your mind. It hardens your will. It sharpens your focus. The world doesn't reward comfort. It rewards competence. It rewards toughness. It rewards those who embrace the struggle, not evade it. You have a choice. That's the key. Let's break it down to action. 1. Seek the challenge daily. Do not wait for life to push you. Find the tasks that scare you. Take on responsibilities no one else wants. Speak up when it's easier to stay quiet. Do the work that tests your limits. Every time you choose the hard task, you're building unshakable mental muscle. 2. Avoid the seductive trap of shortcuts. Instant gratification is a poison. Quick wins erode resilience. Every time you take the easy route, your future self pays the price. Train yourself to delay comfort. Choose the path that demands effort. Endure the struggle, that's where growth lives. 3. Reinforce toughness through repetition. Strength isn't a single act. It's hundreds of small, hard decisions stacked on top of each other. Show up consistently. Push yourself daily. Refuse to negotiate with weakness. That's how you internalize the mindset of the strong. Let's get specific. Take your work, your body, your mind, your habits, everything that matters. Ask yourself, am I taking the easy way here? Am I avoiding the friction that builds strength? If the answer is yes, course correct immediately. You don't need permission to choose the hard way. You don't need validation to endure struggle. It's not about being liked. It's about being disciplined. The hard way is the strong way. Here's the mental framework you need. Most people equate the easy path with intelligence. They think, work smarter, not harder. Wrong. The smart work comes after mastering the hard work. Strength precedes strategy. Endurance precedes excellence. Discipline precedes freedom. You cannot shortcut the foundations. You cannot skip the friction. You cannot bypass the grind. Embrace it. Endure it. Master it. The hard way isn't glamorous. It's not flashy. It doesn't get applause. It's quiet. It's relentless. It's invisible. And that's why the masses never take it. They want comfort and accolades simultaneously. You cannot have both. You have a choice. Pursue comfort and fade into mediocrity. Or pursue struggle and rise to mastery. That's the choice of champions. Let's apply this to life's domains. Physical toughness. Wake up before sunrise. Train when your body protests. Run when everyone else rests. Mental toughness. Read when others scroll. Work when motivation fades. Persist when failure whispers. Emotional toughness. Face rejection. Own criticism. Stand alone when necessary. In all these areas, the hard way is the way of growth. The easy way is the way of decay. The hard way is the strong way. Repetition reinforces reality. Every day, remind yourself. Comfort is cheap. Effort is valuable. Resistance is your teacher. Stop seeking approval. Stop avoiding friction. Stop rationalizing shortcuts. Decide once. Execute always. Every choice to endure builds momentum. Every act of avoidance reinforces weakness. The trajectory of your life is determined by these micro-decisions. The hard way is the strong way. Let's address the fear you feel. Fear of failure. Fear of discomfort. Fear of judgment. Fear is natural. But it is not your enemy. It is a compass pointing toward where you must grow. Step into the fear. Lean into the challenge. Take the path that demands more from you. Because only there will mastery live. You have a choice. That's the key. Here's the ultimate truth. If you take the easy way, you train weakness. If you take the hard way, you train strength. Strength compounds over time. Weakness compounds over time. You decide which you will become. The world does not reward shortcuts. It rewards consistency. It rewards courage. It rewards those willing to take the path that requires more effort, more patience, more perseverance. The hard way is the strong way. Final lesson. Every challenge you avoid today is a chain on your future. Every moment you endure discomfort is a rung on the ladder to excellence. Do not negotiate. Do not rationalize. Do not compromise with weakness. Choose the hard way. Own the struggle. Endure the friction. Master the process. And in the end, the results will speak for themselves. Strength, respect, discipline, mastery. They belong to those who take the hard way, every time. The hard way is the strong way. You've been through the book. You've learned to embrace discomfort. You've learned to control your mind. You've learned to endure pressure. You've learned that shortcuts create mediocrity. Now it's time to act. Take the lessons. Live the lessons. Choose the hard way. Every day. Without compromise. Without excuse. Because comfort builds weakness. Challenge builds strength. And the hard way? The hard way is the only way to become unshakable. The hard way is the strong way. Next, apply this mindset across every area of your life. Stop seeking shortcuts. Start seeking growth. Take the path that demands everything, and gives you everything in return. Conclusion. You've just been reminded of what you already knew deep down. That softness is a choice. That weakness is trained, just like strength. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be ready. Comfort won't prepare you. Discipline will. Excuses won't protect you. Grit will. Every moment of resistance is your proving ground. Every moment of pain is your practice. You don't need motivation. You need mastery. You don't need sympathy. You need standards. This is your new law: no softness. No negotiation. No surrender. You have a choice: stay comfortable and crumble, or get hard and rise. The weak world is watching. Don't join it. Be the one who doesn't flinch. Be the one who doesn't fold. Be the one who doesn't break. This is mental toughness. And now, it's your turn to live it.